Welcome back to Grammar Grade 10. This is Unit 11, Lesson 82, and today we're picking up the quietest punctuation mark in the whole toolbox, parentheses. Last lesson, the dash grabbed the reader by the collar. Today's mark does exactly the opposite. It lowers its voice, slips a little something extra in, and then steps politely out of the way. Let's take a look. Let's start with the job parentheses actually do. Parentheses set off supplemental material, information that adds a little something but is not important enough to be part of the main statement. Here's one. The trail, about 6 miles, loops back to the lot. Those curved marks around about 6 miles turn it into a quiet aside, helpful but never essential. And here is the proof. Cover the aside with your thumb and the main statement still stands perfectly on its own. The trail loops back to the lot. Nothing you needed is gone. That is the whole spirit of this mark. It is a whisper, not a shout. Now let me set parentheses beside their neighbors, because choosing between them is really a choice about volume. Here is the same aside 3 different ways. First, with parentheses. The trail, about 6 miles, loops back. Parentheses whisper. They tell the reader, this is minor, glance at it and move on. Second, with commas. The information sits at a normal, neutral volume, carrying no special weight in either direction. And third, with dashes, which we met in the last lesson. Dashes shout. They yank the reader's eye straight to the interruption. Same words, 3 volumes. So remember the dial. Parentheses turn the volume down. Dashes turn it up. And commas leave it exactly where it was. Now here's where people trip. Sometimes the material you drop into parentheses is not just a phrase, it's a complete sentence. Look. The trail, it is steep in places, loops back. That inner piece, it is steep in places, could easily stand on its own as a sentence. But it isn't standing on its own. It's sitting inside another sentence. So it does not get a capital letter, and it does not get a period. A small letter at the start, nothing at the end. Compare the wrong version underneath. Capital I and a period before the closing mark. It looks tidy, but it is incorrect, because a guest sentence doesn't get to bring its own furniture. The host sentence owns the punctuation. But change the position and the rules flip. Sometimes the parenthetical is not tucked inside another sentence at all. It stands on its own 2 feet, between 2 full sentences. Listen. It loops back. It is steep in places. Bring water. That middle piece is a complete, independent sentence that just happens to be wearing parentheses. And because it stands alone, it gets everything a sentence normally gets. A capital letter at the front and a period at the end, both of them tucked in before the closing mark. So hold the 2 cases side by side. Inside another sentence, no capital, no period. Standing alone between sentences, capital and period. Position is what decides. Next question, where does the period go? The answer is simple once you see who owns it. Take this. We took the long trail, about 6 miles. That final period belongs to the main sentence. We took the long trail, not to the little aside. So the period lands outside the closing mark. The wrong version pulls the period inside, and now look what happens. The main sentence has no end mark at all. It just trails off. Same idea for a comma or a semicolon. If the sentence needs one there, it goes after the closing parentheses, never before it. Here's the order to remember. Close the aside first, then end the sentence. There is one exception, and it's a good one. A question mark or an exclamation point that belongs to the parenthetical material stays inside the parentheses. Look at this aside. Had we lost our minds? That question mark isn't asking anything about the main sentence. The aside is asking it all by itself, so it stays in right before the closing mark. Full sentence. We hiked on, had we lost our minds, in the rain. See how the question mark tucks inside while the main sentence carries calmly on to its own period at the end? So whenever you're deciding, ask one thing. Whose mark is it? If it belongs to the aside, it goes inside. If it belongs to the main sentence, it goes outside. Let's pull the whole lesson into one quick check. Step 1. Is this really side material? Something the main statement can live without? If yes, parentheses are your mark. Step 2. If what sits inside is a complete sentence, and it's tucked inside another sentence, then give it no capital and no period. Step 3. If that parenthetical sentence stands alone between two sentences, give it a capital and a period. Step 4. Ask whose mark it is. The aside's marks stay inside. The main sentence's marks stay outside. And one last piece of advice, maybe the most important of all. Use parentheses sparingly. A whisper is powerful because it is rare. Fill a page with asides, and the writing starts to feel cluttered and hesitant, as if the writer can't quite commit to anything. Ready to practice? In this first set, I'll show you a parenthetical sentence, and you decide whether it should take a capital letter and a period, or neither one. Pause the video and choose before I reveal each answer. My cousin, she runs marathons, joined us. Now, that aside is a complete sentence on its own, but look at where it lives, right in the middle of another sentence. A guess sentence gets no capital and no period, so this one is correct as written. We reached the summit. The view was worth it. Then we ate. That middle piece is standing all by itself between two sentences. It isn't tucked inside anything, so it must begin with a capital letter, and it already has its period. The answer? It needs a capital letter. The recipe, it takes an hour, calls for saffron. Here, the aside is sitting inside another sentence, so that capital I and that period are both out of place. The answer? Drop the capital and the period. Now each sentence has a punctuation mark landing near a closing parentheses. Decide whether that mark belongs inside the aside or outside it. Pause and try each one before I answer. We rented the cabin, the small one. That final period ends the main sentence. We rented the cabin, and it has nothing to do with the little aside. So the period goes outside the closing mark. He signed up, had he read the rules, and started Monday. That question is being asked by the aside itself, not by the main sentence. So the question mark stays inside the closing mark. 9 runners finished, about a third, and all of them smiled. The sentence needs a comma right there, but that comma belongs to the main sentence, not to the aside. So it goes after the closing mark. Let's gather it all up. Parentheses set off supplemental material, the extra that the main statement can happily live without. Where a dash shouts, a pair of parentheses whispers, so reach for them when you want to play something down. When a complete sentence sits inside another sentence, it takes no capital and no period. When it stands alone between two sentences, it takes both. And the punctuation that ends your main sentence goes outside the closing mark, while a question mark or exclamation point that belongs to the aside stays inside with it. Use them sparingly, and they will do beautiful, quiet work for you. In our next lesson, we'll keep building your punctuation toolkit in Grammar Grade 10. I'll see you there.